is a transition on Atlantic Television Network. Analysts has described the constructive criticism from the All Progressives Congress against the Rivers State government as a constitutional tool to checkmate the affairs and activities of the current administration. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network Open Conversation, a political analyst, George Chinda, commended the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State for its key roles in ensuring that the dividends of governance is achieved in the state.
As an opposition party chairman in the state, to say that the party will continue to criticize the government of Rivers State, it is permissible within our political context that the opposition party will continue to criticize. At times, even when the government is doing the right thing, it is their job, it is their task to continue criticizing, because that way they will gain some kind of traction, they will gain some kind of support from the masses. It is normal, it is permissible. This is not just a Nigerian thing, all over.
Chinda maintained that the 27 lawmakers are still members of PDP.
The statement here on national television that you are his wife, does that validate the fact that you are his wife? Of course you are not his wife, because those things that make you a wife to him, we are not there. This is just a mere statement. That the 27 lawmakers, for one reason or the other, we are received at the Polo Club by Tony Okocha, does not in any way show that they have defected. What constitutes defection is documentation. The way the party is structured, you have to go to your ward. I have left.
This comes as the chairman of the All Progressives Congress Caretaker Committee in Rivers State, Tony Okocha, said the party will continue to constructively criticize the governor, Siminalayi Fubara-led government in the interest of the people. Nigerian Coalition Association has held her annual National Conference 2024 with the theme Coalition Management of Downstream and Midstream Oil and Gas Industry. This is more to this report.
Events for the annual Corrosion Conference of the Nigerian Corrosion Association continued today, the 22nd of October 2024. The theme for this year's event is Corrosion Management in the downstream and midstream oil and gas industry. Highlights of the event include welcome address by the conference chairman, opening remark by NICA president, tour of exhibition led by conference chairman. There was also keynote speeches on corrosion management by NMDPRA, Global Corrosion Management of Refineries, amongst others. Giving his welcome address, chairman of the conference, Engineer Uche Benedict Ekekwe, spoke on the impact of corrosion to the system and possible prevention measures.
Corrosion, as we may simply define, is when metals try to adjust to their natural existence. Remember, we will always modify metals to suit our purpose, possibly to achieve the strength of material or its aesthetics, malleability, conductivity, or at least resistant to wear. All this we do during refining and modification and alloys. We gather today to look at the impact of this corrosion to our systems, be it pipeline, be it tank farm, be it decorative materials. We lose a lot if we don't do something. I listen to people like Harris in the agri say, when something is going wrong, do something. So what do we do to prevent them from happening? We don't want them to return to their original state. Therefore, we go into corrosion protection of these metals.
Also speaking, President of NICA, Professor Awa Kasim, emphasized on the significance of the theme, adding that Nigeria's economy and its sustainability is essential for the country's collective progress. He stated that the ramifications of unchecked corruption are costly not only in terms of financial loss, but also with regards to safety, environmental efficiency.
This year, we converge under the theme Management of Corrosion in the Midstream and Downstream Oil and Gas Industry. This theme could not be more timely or critical, as the oil and gas sector remains the backbone of Nigeria's economy, and its sustainability is essential for our collective progress. Corrosion management is a matter of national importance, most especially as we strive to optimize operations in the midstream and downstream sectors. The ramifications of unchecked corrosion are costly, not only in terms of financial loss, but also with regards to safety, environmental impact, and operational efficiency. Across pipelines, storage facilities, and refining infrastructure, corrosion threatens our most vital assets unless we confront it with advanced strategies and cutting-edge solutions.
Delivering his keynote address, Engineer J. Miaba George, a fellow of the Nigerian Corrosion Association, identified various problems of corrosion beginning from the designing stage. He also encouraged starters to always go in depth in their studies of the fundamentals of corrosion and its principles. Engineer George therefore advocated that every pipeline in Nigeria should have a parallel road to secure and scare vendors against destruction.
One corrosion issue is being discussed. What has been our problem before now is the fact that at design stages, you rarely will hear it about corrosion. Sometimes, with due respect to our mechanical people and other chemical engineers here, sometimes when I go to the system, when I enter the system, I discovered that at the time my own job was to chemical person and the process person. I said, he said, because they are going to calculate using a pipe system to know another subject, to know what will be the size of the pipe and other things. I said, but that has nothing to do with the corrosion. Why do we need the pipeline? Why must we transport? Why do you need pipeline and for what purpose? Pipeline actually is, of course, no mechanical object, but you can say it's a system whereby petroleum products or petroleum products and crude oil is transported from one point to another point. And this is done because we are looking at safety of the product being taken across crisscrossing the country. You can imagine a situation where our crude oil is being transported by trucks, trailer, from one point to another, for instance. How do you transport it from here to, from the wells, subsea? How do you transport? So these are some of the challenges. So we need a system where this thing will pass through to get to destination.
Ajorunwo Samuel, ATM News, Port Harcourt.
New Assistant Inspector General of Police Adebola Ayinde Hamzat has been appointed for the Zone 16 Command of the Nigerian Police with headquarters in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. A statement by the Zonal Police Public Relations Officer SP Enonena Eozun on Tuesday in Yenagoa said the new appointment by the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, followed the retirement of his while AIG Paul Alifa Omata. The statement also said AIG Adebola Ayenda Hamzat, an indigent of Ifelodun LGA of Kwara State, was commissioned into the Nigerian Police Force as the Cadet Assistant Superintendent of Police on 18th May 1992 and described him as a graduate of the Sociology from the University of Ilori and holds a Master's in Conflict Management and Peace Studies, UNIJOS, and a PhD in Peace and Development Studies from University of Ilorin, as well as a seasoned officer of repute and distinguished fellows of the Defense College. The statement also called on the people of Bayelsa and Rivers State to fully cooperate and support Hamzat to enable him to bring to bear his extensive knowledge and proven skills in policing in line with Egbetokun's agenda. Troop of the 63 Brigade of the Nigerian Army in Delta State has arrested 4 suspected criminals operating in tricycle and recovered arms and ammunition. A statement by the Assistant Director of Army Public Relations Officer, Major Emmanuel Onoja, said the suspects were apprehended inside a tricycle during a routine patrol at the Nwawolo Market behind the Asaba Specialist Hospital. According to the statement, items recovered from the operations includes 1 AK-47 rifle, 1 round of 9 mm ammunition, 2 cartridges, and 1 magazine, including 1 bottle axe, bottle small Android phone, and a wallet containing $19. The statement also said the suspects were taken into custody for further interrogation. Delta State Police Command has arrested a suspected cultist negotiating to buy an AK-47 rifle for 1.3 million naira. Delta State Police Public Relations Officer SP Bright Dafe, who disclosed this in a statement on Tuesday, said the suspect, who is a member of the Vikings confraternity, has confessed to the crime. According to him, the suspect was arrested during negotiating to buy the AK-47 rifle for 1.3 million naira. Social advocate has warned against child abuse and described the Delta State girl child abuse and other related cases as disturbing and condemnable. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Society Watch, a social commentator, Sunday Nathan, said proper psychological attention should be awarded to victims of child abuse to revive their mental damage.
Of course, relevant authorities give attention to the girl, for she should be taken through counseling, because I mentor teenagers and youth, and I tell them, have somebody else as a guardian, as a listening party, as an accountability partner that you talk to regarding things that concern your life, so that if anything is going on contrary or something is going wrong, you will have somebody that you can report that action to, and the person will take it up. The only voice you say.
ATM recalls a 15-year-old schoolgirl in Delta State, Emmanuel, on Monday has cried out for help from her hideout after escaping from a man who her mother allegedly gave her to, urging relevant authorities to rescue her from her abusive mother, who she accused of allegedly trying to force her into child prostitution in exchange for money. Emanuela, who claims to be in secondary school 2, at Triumphant School, a forum in Owiya local government area of Delta State, alleged that her biological mother had contracted her to unnamed men to tackle sexual advantage of her. Commissioner of Police Akwa Ibom State Joseph Eribo has represented check worth over 88.6 million naira to the families of 54 deceased officers in the state. A statement by the police public relations officer Tim Fon John, who used the occasion to condole with the family of the fallen officers, appreciated the IGP Kayode Adeolo Egbetokun for ensuring prompt payment of funds, which he noted are part of the IGP's family welfare scheme, group life assurance and group personal accident insurance scheme. He urged the beneficiaries who are next of kin of the deceased officers to use the fund judiciously, adding that the call on beneficiaries are not next of kin to the deceased officers was to ensure that the beneficiaries express their appreciation to the police forces, promising to make good use of the funds and pray to God to bless the IGP, the CP, and the Nigerian Police Force. A fraudulent fertility nurse before Justice Mohammed Garba Omar of the Federal High Court sitting in Independence Layout, Enugu State. David Agua faces 45 counts of fraudulent impersonation, 278 million. The defendants pleaded not guilty to all charges when they were presented. In light of their plea, EFCC counsel Blessing A.N. Obasi requested a trial date and asked the defendant to be remanded at the Enugu State Correctional Facility. However, defense attorney G.C. Madu Bogu informed the court of the pending bail motion, date October 4, 2024. It is filed a pursuant to Section 162 and 165, subsection 1 of the Administration of the Criminal Justice Act. He stated after presenting the application, he requested bail for the defendant on lenient terms. Obasi strongly opposed the bill request, citing the gravity of the charge and the mental health impact on the defendant's victims. After considering both arguments, Justice Huma adjourned the case to November 12, 2024 for a ruling on the bill application, and the defendant was subsequently remanded at the Enugu State Correctional Facility. Commandant General Special Intelligence Court of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested 5 suspects and recovered 20 liters of 20,000 liters of illicit crude oil stolen from Abia State. The commandant disclosed this in a statement signed by a spokesperson, Afolabi Babawole, and explained that the operation was based on a credible intelligence that led to the midnight raid in the Umielechi Izam community of Abia State. The statement said Commandant Apollos said the command acted based on credible intelligence and chased the suspects who almost escaped using their motorcycles in Ubuzo, Asa Aziz, Ukwa west of Abia State. Ebonyi State Police Command has warned its officers and men to steer clear of unprofessional acts and focus on promoting the good image of Nigerian police force. The command's public relations officer, DSP Joshua Okandu, who issued a warning in a statement to newsmen in Abakiriki, said the warning became necessary following a viral video on social media depicting its officers and its state acting unprofessionally at their duty posts. He denounced the unprofessional behavior of the officers, adding that they would not go unpunished, and the command had commenced disciplinary actions against the officers involved. Okandu also said the command Commissioner of Police in the state, CP Antonia Uche Anya, has reinstated the command's zero tolerance for extortion and warned against any form of misconduct, as any officer found wanting would face disciplinary actions. Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Modashiru Obasa, says in view of the controversy surrounding the fight of local council development areas in the state, the Assembly is planning a bill at replacing the existing 37 LCDAs in the state with area administrative councils. This was contained in a bill for the law to provide for local government system establishment and administration to consolidate all laws on local government administration and connected purposes, which went through a public hearing on Thursday. However, the Assembly agreed to conduct another public hearing on the bill and also invited the State Attorney General, Lawal Pedro, for an interpretation of the recent Supreme Court's judgment on the financial autonomy for local governments. The resolution came at a sitting presided over by Obasa, adding that the review of the LG administration law was not intended to scrap the LCDAs but to further strengthening them. The chairman of the Committee on Local Government, Sani Okanaloan, while giving a report on the public hearing earlier conducted by the committee, said many of the stakeholders invited to the event could not make it and attributed the poor attendance to weather condition of the day, just as he prayed the House to approve a second allotted day for the exercise. Following the directive of the governor of Kwara State, Malam Abdul Razak, the State Ministry of Health have commenced the screening of Kwara citizens for breast and cervical cancer with immediate effect. The State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Amina El Imam, who discloses in Ilori, reaffirmed that the just approved cancer screening is part of the commitment of its administration to quality health service delivery for the entire people of Kwara State. According to her, medical experts will be on ground to screen and lead positive access cases to affordable treatment as early recovery led to the better treatment, and urge people of the state to seize the golden opportunity by going all out for the screening of their breasts and check against cervical cancer. Kogi State Police Command has banned the use of vehicles with covered number plates, as well as the unregistered vehicles and motorcycles across the state. A statement on Tuesday by the Kogi State Police Public Relations Officer SP Williams Ovianya and the Commissioner of the Police Bernard Onua said the order became necessary following the intelligence that criminals hide under covered plate numbers to carry out criminal activities in the state. The Commissioner of Police advised owners of vehicles with covered number plates to remove them, and those without registration number to register or have their vehicles impounded. Federal Capital Territory Administration has issued a 3-month ultimatum to owners of undeveloped properties and plots are being used as hideouts by men of questionable character, thereby posing a serious security challenges to residents. Federal Capital Territory Administration has flagged off construction of access road for judges' quarters and intra-road construction in Kantampe district in Abuja. At the official flag-off ceremony on Tuesday, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas.
Construction of roads, bridges and other critical infrastructure facilitates the movement of people, movement of goods, and the movement of services, which in turn spurs productivity, creates jobs, and improves the living standard of all Nigerians. In the Federal Capital Territory, with its unique status as the seat of government, the Development of infrastructure is not only an economic necessity, but also a reflection of our national aspiration, in urgent need of our attention. Here in Abuja, the infrastructure deficit is more glaring as the city's population continues to grow at an annual rate of 5%. This puts pressure on the existing facilities and highlights the need for more access road, more housing, and essential services to cater to the needs of residents.
Minister of FCT Nyesom Wike, while delivering his speech, said the project will be completed in due time to serve as an achievement of Mr. President's second in office, adding that FCT administration is on a new dimension to ensure residents optimal security protection for the citizens.
What we agreed is that this will be part of the second year anniversary of Mr. President. So October next year is not the anniversary. The anniversary is May, June. So that 12 months, it is for you. It is not for us. We have not less than 25 schools to be rehabilitated, because you can't believe it that in a city like Abuja, you just go to the schools, you ask yourself, is it Abuja at all? It's quite unfair. And so we have taken it upon ourselves, that our schools will be like schools. It's turning to beggar city.
Condition and their prolonged detention without trials, while many of the fleeing inmates were reported to be suffering from several severe health issues that worsened during their time in custody. Justice Abdul Adboki stressed that the lack of adequate medical care in the facilities further compromised their well-being, adding that the prolonged detention without legal proceedings was of corrections in Kano State. Mr. Ado Inuwa commended the Chief Judge's gesture, adding that it was not only a step towards addressing crowding, but also a reflection of compassion towards the
and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens. Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back. This is a transition on Atlantic Television Network, and now the rest of our stories. Senate in the National Assembly has vowed to address challenges confronting steel development, adding that there was need for stakeholders conference to look into those challenges and to ensure the steel sector is critical to the social-economic development of the nation. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Steel Development, Patrick Ndubueze, who stated disclosed this during the committee's oversight visit to Minister of Steel Development in Abuja, said the Ministry of Steel Development remains a vital agency is developed to full capacity. A lawmaker assured the Ministry of Legislative support that would enable them to consider the use of technology in carrying out research and steel development, insisting that Nigeria must be able to meet its local consumption needs. Responding, the Minister of Steel Development, Prince Shuaibu Abubakar Abdul in Nigeria, stressing that there was no alternative to iron and steel development if the nation must attain its goal of greatness, and assured the lawmakers that the iron and steel industry would be revived, given the readiness of the current administration and the support the ministry has so far gotten from the parliament. According to him, the ministerial team visited Russia some time ago and it has started yielding results as Russians have expressed their willingness to revisit with the National Assembly and stakeholders in the industry to revive the sector and other rolling mines across the country. Bill for an act to establish the National Food Reserve Agency has clapped through second reading in the Red Chamber. The bill was sponsored by Senator Sailu Mosta. When passed into law, would provide a legal framework on the country's bill food or grains reserve agency to function better than the way it is today. Many senators supported the bill and it was passed for the third reading.
President, distinguished colleagues, the bill seeks to further develop the agricultural sector by ensuring national food security and income through marketing and storage services, as well as addressing emergency food crisis.
Legal framework. Senator Sailu Mustafa also said Nigeria rely more on local farmers whose primarily farms for feeding and take a little to the market to sell to solve their daily challenges, saying the law will make the government increase food preservation by buying grains from the local farmers for the agency to preserve. Bill to amend the 1999 Constitution to create new Oyo and Ibadan State has scrapped second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill, sponsored by Akim Adeyemi, the son of the late Alafin Adeyemi, and the 6 others, seeks to create Oyo State with Oyo Town as the capital, while the remaining parts should form Ibadan State with Ibadan City as the capital. The Constitution Alternation Bill was passed for second reading on Tuesday during the plenary section, and the bill proposed the division of the existing 33 local governments, which would be shared among the 2 states. The bill was subsequently referred to the Constitutional Review Committee for further legislative action. House of Representatives has expressed concern over the rising case of one-chance criminal activities in the Federal Capital Territory in recent times, which has led to the abduction, kidnapping, and deaths of some residents in the capital city. This is equal to the notion of the audience public importance moves on the floor of the House. Honorable Ishmael Hauzuna, who decries the days of the legislative head of the lawmakers in the House of Representatives murdered by ace adopters in Maitama despite the paid ransom.
The House, aware that in recent years the nation's capital has experienced an uprise in the rate of kidnappings and robbery incidents, including one chance from those kidnapped from far-flung suburbs to those kidnapped along the airport road, from those picked from their estates to those kidnapped at the city center, to those adopted by renegade one-chance taxi operators. Also aware that it has been a tumultuous and scary situation for people living within the capital territory of the use of unregistered and unpainted taxis has further worsened the situation, providing an easy conduct for criminal activities within the capital city. Worried that the residents of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, are living in fear as the security of the nation's seat of power has continued to deteriorate as brutal criminals go about with their daily operations without mercy on citizens. Further aware that one Ms. Neema Suleiman, a legislative aide of Honorable Dabo Ismail, was kidnapped and brutally murdered on Thursday, 17th October, at gunpoint at Barnex Junction in Wuse 2.
The House, however, resolved to mandate the FCT Police Command, the FCT Minister and other stakeholders to brief the committee on the progress made and mandate committee on FCT to regulate unpainted taxis in the capital city. In related developments, the House urged the Nigerian Police and Department of State Service to deploy more security personnel to Nambo community in Anambra State, where 10 youths were allegedly murdered. This follows a notion by Honorable Lillian Orogbo. Government areas in Nigeria. He said a reform of the judiciary is on the priority list to enhance their independence, efficiency, and accountability. Speaker Abbas gave the assurance in Abuja while delivering his keynote address at the Learning, Dissemination and Inception event organized by the UK Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office in collaboration with the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center and the Partnership to Engage Reform and Learn project with the theme From Pearl to Pace, Learning to Sustain Democratic Governance in Nigeria. He said the reform were outlined in the 10th legislative agenda of the House and represented by the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. Speaker Abbas said that the engagement offered a good opportunity to reflect and evaluate the critical lesson learned from the FCDO's intervention, which he said have played an instrumental role in advancing democracy and governance in Nigeria, particularly within the legislature. Speaker Abbas further assured the commitment of the House towards improving the lives of the citizenry through the incitement of all-inclusive legislation and also commended the effort of the numerous department partners towards deepening democratic practice in Nigeria. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, Senator, has declared that the federal government did not give state government metronome in the implementation of this. There is a delay in the full implementation of the APECO's verdict due to the measures being put in place by the federal government towards achieving a successful implementation. Fagbemi, who disclosed this while addressing newsmen after he was honored with an honorary degree during the 12th convocation ceremony and 15th Founders Day event of the Afa Baba Lola University Ado-Ekiti, said there is no going back in the implementation of the judgments for the 774 local government areas to be given financial autonomy in order to ensure development at a grassroots level. He wants states not to commit contempt of court by disobeying the mandate of the administration of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was determined to ensure all duly constituted and elected local government administrators receive their allocations directly from the federal account. Supreme Court has reserved judgment in suit filed by 19 state governments against the federal government challenging the constitutionality of the law establishing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and 2 orders to debt to be communicated to the parties. Argue that the Supreme Court in Dr. Joseph Nwobikwe's Federal Republic of Nigeria had held that it was a Convention Against Corruption that was reduced into the EFCC Establishment Act, and that is to enacting this law in 2004. The provision of Section 12 of the 1999 Constitution as amended was not followed. The argument was that it's bringing convention into the Nigerian law. The provision of Section 12 must be complied with. Adding that the provision of the Constitution necessitates the majority of the House of Assembly agreeing to bring the convention in before passing the EFCC Act and others, which was allegedly never done. The argument of the states in their present suit, which they had reportedly been corroborated by the Supreme Court in the previous case mentioned, is that the law has enacted could not be applied to state that never approved of it, in accordance with the provision of the Nigerian Constitution, adding that any institution so formed on the basis of reducing the UN Convention to law should be regarded as an illegal institution. The Attorney General of Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, who was present in court as the defendant, has craved the court indulgence to take the process on Tuesday morning, while Justice Uwani Abaji therefore granted leave to the defendants on use of the points filed on Tuesday, announced business reports. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu has set up a forensic investigative committee to address the Inscran's Great Collapse. A statement by the minister's media head Bolaji Tunji said Adelabu, worried at the disturbance on the national grid which threw some section of the country into darkness twice within the past week, summoned the leadership of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission and the Transmission Company of Nigeria to an emergency meeting at